I never knew death could be a metaphor till the night I visited the hospital's mortuary. I lifted sheets off and noticed how the faces of dead bodies appeared much more relaxed than the living, as if it was a relief to not be alive. An army man slept with a thread crossing his heart, since a man might be dead but long live his caste, and I noticed how the lines on his palms, which ironically promised a long lifetime, have rendered meaningless, like the subjective borders he used to fight at, like a pawn in the chessboard of a powerful diplomat whose flick of a hand can make the Adivasis forget their dance, whose careless nod could cause rain over trees by which hung the broken necks of farmers with unpaid future plans, whose one random tweet can direct a demolition and script write riots alone, but can never set up a fight between a Brahmin and Dalit, because in that case, the winner was already set in stone. I wonder if that karma will matter when their corpses rub against each other, irrespective of caste, while buried under the soil in the graveyard, kissing all the way to afterlife at last. My 12-year-old niece asked me if ministers are avatars of Vishnu, or why else are they playing God? Her young mind wonders how living a life based on Gandhian non-violence is something a soldier can never afford. And if those untouchable heads that pop out of the sewage holes on roadsides have got gills to breathe through the scum, and how the good days have already been left behind, but everyone is still awaiting for them to come. I can see why Bharat Mata is the most suitable name for our nation, because certainly it must be a woman who has always been on menstruation, continuously dripping blood over the meat in your refrigerator, over honest stand-up comedies, over the loudspeakers of a mosque and lady-oriented movies. We are a country without a post office, a country which is best symbolized by a cow because it is too clueless to have an opinion, so engrossed in the grazing that it has led itself astray, constantly stinking of manure and craving for the grass which looks greener only from miles away. We are a country full of immigrants born out of migrating Aryans and invading Mongolians, claiming a land as our own on which we were not even born, closing borders to poverty-stricken Bangladeshis because anything Muslim is criminal, while begging for taxi driving jobs ourselves in the streets of London and Montreal. I wish we could pay taxes in form of apologies, because I'm very sorry to call democracy as nothing but a randomized casino gamble where luck determines a win you cannot easily predict, but of which you are still given the credit, but not in my name will run such a game in which women with shoulders drooped under the weight of Dolce & Gabbana jackets of pure leopard skins will tell me which animal is ethical enough to be eaten, while they sit at Starbucks sipping coffee bought from their husband's money and talk about how they do not need feminism since the idea is old. After all, they can definitely afford to pay the dowry in terms of gold. This country must be a tribal woman who needs a government permit to lend her uterus on rent, who does not have the right document to save her house from being trampled under the bulldozer that a corporate giant sent, who lives a peaceful life in the hills which capitalism and terrorism have not yet discovered, and wonders if these white-collar slaves who survive on antidepressants and sell their souls for a minimum wage are the real ones who are backward and savage. I'm proud that we live in a free country where we can be anything we want, anything except a homosexual, a beef lover, a complaining Kashmiri, a pregnant single woman, a sterile married woman, anti-national, a transgender still trying to make sense of their bodies, an illegitimate child, a legitimate divorcee, a sex worker, a manual scavenger, a Manipuri activist on eternal fasting, a Rohit Vemula. But indeed, we live in a free country where we can be surely anything we want. India is nothing but another China which is allowed to rant online. It is just another Israel with a Palestine that still attracts tourism in summertime. It is nothing but another Bangladesh, only 34 years older, and nothing but another Russia with a communist history much shorter. Who knew these countries were all the same, only differing in the kinds of prejudice they uphold or the shapes they take on the globe, puzzle pieces fitting to make a picture with chlorinated skies, clouded by gunfire smoke and whistleblowing spies. International affairs remind me of television soaps which only housewives watch. India and Pakistan bickering like ex-lovers, growing jealous when the other one has a new partner, or like stepbrothers fighting over who will inherit the land of their forefathers. United States, the head of the family who holds the authority of permission. Saudi Arabia, the chief antagonist. Tibet, an orphan child laborer. Iran, an extramarital affair. And Africa, the newborn abandoned in a gutter. There must be more freedom found behind the bars and the prisons, where at least your life is a constant rebellion against the laws of this Orwellian state we know, where swarms of journalists chase you like impatient grasshoppers, carrying cameras like snipers in their arms, ready to turn your life into a reality show. Who knew that free will was such an illusion, and man was but a prisoner of a war he fights inside his mind, chained by Adam Smithian invisible hands, seeking freedom through voluntary death in the suicides, in the manholes, in the armies. This mortuary smells of salvation, of afterlives with no discrimination, of rebirths that were anticipated but never happened, never mattered. Maybe this is what they call jihad. Maybe this is what they wish they had. This tryst with destiny has been such a painful start that one would rather time a bomb against her heart and rip herself apart, the only way they think they can be heard in this noisy world.